It's one of the biggest fears.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't wish this on many people. And I make it into the stall and I just like projectile vomit. We had just finished having sex. He was literally still inside of me and was talking about how amazing I was. And then follows up with, I think we should go on a break. And I was literally like, can you at least take your dick like outside of my body before you break up with me?
Welcome to One Night Stand-Up Comedy. Tell us your sexy stories.
I'm Rebecca Rochon.
And I'm Alfie Rosselli. And this is a show where you tell us your wildest, funniest, sexiest dating stories.
DM us on Instagram for a chance to be featured on the show.
And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
This date is all of our worst fears.
Where it starts out great.
And then it quickly turns into a very shitty situation.
Yeah, it wasn't butterflies in her stomach.
Let's hear from Mandy now.
Mandy, welcome to our show.
Hello.
You went on a date.
Great. It was a shitty date.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's just like it's one of the biggest fears.
Okay, well, first of all, I don't wish this on many people. It is like the worst thing that can possibly happen, and it's like forever my greatest fear. Basically, I was just supposed to meet a couple of friends from work. It was New Year's Eve, and before everyone was going out, like, let's grab like a happy hour drink, whatever. Just before we're heading out, everyone kind of like ditches, and it's just me and this one guy that I work with. And we had a one night stand like the weekend before.
Oh, and now it's New Year's, so like there's that will they won't they feel to it.
The kiss at
totally.
midnight.
It was just like the week before, and I just didn't think, I wasn't like super into him. I didn't think it would happen. And also like we work together, so that's like a bridge I'd never want to cross.
Yeah.
But I was like, whatever, like I'll just go and meet him because he's a cool guy. And he actually did look like exactly what I want in a guy, which is like average height, so like 5'10", brunette, like kind of like athletic build, like guy. Like I don't like muscles, I don't like tall guys. So he was like very much what I'm into. But right before I left, I got this like intense pang in my stomach. And I was like, ooh, like that was weird, but it went away just as fast as it came. So I was like, oh, it's cool, whatever. That was just like a weird little thing.
And you're like, it's butterflies. I like this guy.
Oh, that's a sign. This could be the one.
The universe was like punching me in the stomach, being like, bitch, do not go on a date with this guy because you're going to fall in love with him. He's going to break your heart. Like, don't do it. But I went. So like I get there and he's already there and I sit down and he like gently passes over my like thong that he had like laundered and folded, and because I'd left it there from like the week before.
The last hookup.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
Attractive. I like that.
This man does his laundry.
I don't like doing laundry. I can marry him and he can do my laundry.
Chivalry isn't dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, guys. If you want to impress the ladies, fold their laundry for them.
Yeah, that's true.
They're delicates even.
Yeah. We ordered drinks, and as he was like talking, I was starting to feel like a little bit like more and more sick, but he just kept talking and I didn't want to like be rude and interrupt.
Yeah.
I was just like sitting there like trying not to like throw up on the table. And finally there was like a moment of silence. I was like, I'll be right back. And I like just kind of walk pretty fast to the bathroom. So I was like, I don't have much time. And I make it into the stall and I just like projectile vomit. Like horribly, and it went on like a few good throw ups, and I was like, all right, I feel good, I can
rally. I love that.
You've all been there before. One too many tequila shots and you go throw up, and then you're like ready to party again. So
you're like, I'm feeling super skinny. I'm ready to be naked.
So I like get back out there. Our drinks arrived. I took one sip. And I was like, oh shit, like this is not good. The guy's talking again. I don't even
Oh no.
And so this time I think I just looked like a deer in headlights. And I was like, I am sick. And I ran to the bathroom. And I barely made it in. There was puke all over the floor, the toilet, on the wall. And it was like projectile. It was so violent. It was like splashing back in my hair and on my clothes and on my jeans. And I was like, fuck, like I am a mess. But again, I was like, I got this. I like try and like wipe up as much as I can because I don't want to be a dick and like leave puke all over the bathroom.
Oh my god, that's so
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, and you don't want them to think that you can't handle your alcohol because it's New Year's. So
Right, yes.
And so I get out there and I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I think I have to go. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I have like food poisoning. And he's being so nice about it. And I grabbed the bill, which is like not my usual go-to on a like first, it wasn't a date, but like first date,
Yeah.
thing. But I was like, I felt so disgusting that I was like, this guy's gonna think that I'm such a hot mess. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
grab the bill. So at least he thinks I'm
That's a smooth move.
so
Well done.
nice.
That's smooth.
Yeah.
And so like we get outside and I'm just like, yeah, sorry, dude. Like I gotta go. Literally never thought I'd see him again. And he goes to like hug me. And I just like
What are you crazy?
away. I'm like, do not touch me. I'm literally covered in puke. And he just like grabs me and he hugs me so tight. I
Aw.
totally fell for him. At that, like I was like, I'm in love with this guy.
Aw.
And yeah, and then I got into my car. I puked again. I grabbed like a plastic bag. So I will. This is a hot tip. Always keep a plastic bag in your car because I was literally driving and just puking into my lap, like into the garbage bag. And yeah, and then we started dating. Completely shattered my heart in a million pieces. So the universe was literally like, I fucking told you.
What happened? How did he shatter your heart?
Oh my God. You know, it was one of those typical guys that think that they're like gung ho and they're like, yeah, I love you. I see a future with you. Like, you're so amazing.
Right.
And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're like, oh shit, you know, I'm not ready for a relationship. I've got some shit I got to sort out. And he did. He actually is like a really, really wonderful guy. He had a lot of baggage he had to like sort out. But I'm like, why would you get into a relationship then? So many guys do that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about that for a minute because I was just talking to someone yesterday who was actually ghosted after a guy was like, I've just never met anyone like you. And like, you're just so great. And I can see this working. And she actually was about to go on a date with him. And then he ghosted her like that day the date was planned and like unmatched.
Like, I just had a friend who was ghosted after dating a guy for almost a year.
A year.
Ghosted?
Wow.
It was a long distance thing, but he literally like she
Wow.
was planning on moving to another country to be with this guy.
Holy.
And like all of a sudden, like 2 weeks before, like nothing. And she would like,
What?
call him, text him, nothing.
Wow.
And so like this is nothing new. Like we all have our horror ghost stories. I'm sure guys do too. But I feel like the difference is guys always like spill their feelings. They're like, I've never felt this way before. Like, you're so amazing. And like they build you up. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, sorry. And just like chuck you out the door. And then they're with somebody else and they do the exact same thing.
Why do men feel like they have to be like, okay, the creepiest thing ever, like one of my worst hookup stories was that I went home with a guy like from the club, like not like this is a hookup situation, like we barely talked. And I go and then he like and we're making out and he's just like, I love you. Oh. And I was like, what? Like, you don't even know me. Like, what? It was so scary. It was kind of like, am I gonna get murdered? Like, he was like again and again, like, I love you. I'm like, is this like something guys get off on?
Well, because I think the reason why that is scary is because like there's those extremes of like love and hate. So it's like, oh, if he loves this quickly, then he must get angry even quicker. So it's like those emotional extremes that really come. That's what makes it scary. It's like, whoa, wow, like this guy just feels emotions at the highest level.
No, he wasn't like that at all. So that's what like threw me for a loop because we had conversations about like his baggage and like how we were like working.
What type of baggage was it?
Oh, I mean, he was recently separated, about to be divorced.
Okay.
Yeah. So girls, don't date a guy who's still living with his wife or ex-wife or soon to be ex-wife.
Right.
But
so it was more the ex-wife in the equation that was the problem?
No, she was out of there too.
Oh.
Like so she actually was like moved on with somebody else. And so but yeah, like I'm sure there's a lot that I didn't know or whatnot. I think also guys just like they want to be loved so much.
Right.
And I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think there's also something that's like when you get out of a relationship, it's like you need to figure out why that relationship ended in the first place. So it's like you can't just blame the other person. especially if you've been married as well. So it's like it's a two-person thing.
Totally.
So it's just like you have to let that heal so there's no more bitterness. So then you can be like, so you can be better for the next person. Because I think, well, you want someone that wants the best for you, but in order to get that, they want the best version of you. And that means they want you to break some of those bad fucking habits.
But I'm curious for yours, like, what do you think derailed it, or how was the breakup?
Oh God, I forgot about this. We had just finished having sex. He was literally still inside of me and was talking about how amazing I was and how he like doesn't take for granted how like patient, understanding I am with this situation. And then follows up with, I think we should go on a break. And I was literally like, I can't believe I forgot about that part of the story.
That's so
I was like, can you at least take your dick like outside of my body before you break up with me? We were literally we went back to my place for a quickie in between like having a really fun dinner and then going out to meet his friends.
What is this guy's problem? That sounds like a dream.
I was like, okay, I think I was like in shock.
That's so confusing.
I was in shock.
Do you know what? Maybe that is like one of those guys that likes drama, where he wants you to opine for them. Like he wants to like see the range of emotion of like how much you are really into him.
What do you think it was?
So he honestly is such a normal, great guy. Unless I'm totally I read him wrong, but he actually is like a really great guy. So like, that's why this relationship and breakup threw me for such a loop, because he's not an asshole. He wasn't he didn't cheat on me. He wasn't a dick. I mean, he broke up with me the first time in a really weird way. And the second time, it was like a month later, because I took him back like a week later. He's like, yeah, I'm working on myself. I did this and I did this. I was like, all right, he's actually like making steps to like work on what he said he's going to work on.
And he acknowledged he made a mistake. It's just like,
He did. And
and it's a very emotional time. Like he's going through a divorce, and like that's very intense.
Totally. Actually, another thing I forgot he did was, oh God, we were at a bar the night that we got back together, and he literally I purposely I knew he was coming. So I sat at a table with a whole bunch of dudes, and I just nuzzled up to this random guy that I was not interested in. And I would just pretend I couldn't hear him. So I was whispering in his ear and getting him to whisper in my ear.
Yeah.
Immediately he came up. He's like, I want to talk to you. I was like, oh God, I hope he never listens to this. I didn't know what I did. But, so we were talking, and then he gets on his knee and it's like, I can't remember if he said oh, will you be my girlfriend or something like that. And I was like, get the fuck off your knee. We're in a bar. So embarrassing. Because these dudes were like, oh my God, is he proposing? And it's like, no. Anyways, it worked. I took him back, and then he dumped me a month later by just being like, yeah, I really got to work on myself. And then strung me along for he'll probably say he didn't string me along, but he did, because he's like, yeah, I need my divorce to go through. I need to buy a house. He had all this checklist stuff.
Yeah.
So when he finally accomplished all those things, I was like, oh, great. Maybe we're going to get back together. But that didn't happen.
Wow. He is a stringer. He is it seems like he is a love bomber.
Yeah.
It seems like he's a love bomber. He's getting on his knee and then saying it's his issue. He needs to work on his issue. That is that works once. That works once, because when a guy keeps saying, they keep being like, I admit it, it's my problem, then it's you just have to start agreeing at a certain point. You have to start, I guess you already agreed, but you have to be you said that 3 times, that excuse is worn thin.
Zero accountability as well. Where it's just you have to acknowledge your problems and fix it and not do it again. You can't make the same mistakes.
Right.
And that's what we're talking about, where it's just you have to learn those mistakes. He probably did that with his ex, and I was like, you know what, that's it. These gestures, these mistakes you're making, you can acknowledge them, you can apologize all you want, but if you're not going to fix it, and you're not even going to sit down and discuss with me about fixing it, then it's just not going to work.
At a certain point, you have to really understand the hand of cards you've been dealt in life, and you have to just face it and make the best of it, instead of thinking oh, well, I'm not great yet. That's why. It's just you can't. It's almost like that victim mindset can't continue. You have to kind of be this is my life. This is how I'm improving it. I am doing it, and not talking and apologizing.
But I also think it is good to have a partner that helps you push through that, though. So it's all oh, I need to be no one's going to be a finished product before they meet someone great.
Totally. And I think that's what also pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because he kept saying like, oh, I got to do this on my own. And I was like, no, you don't have to. Like, nobody's ever perfect. It was just confusing because, yeah, he was like, I love you. I see a future with you. I want to be with you. I just have to work on this stuff. And it's like, cool, you can do that while we're dating.
Yeah, because when you're in that loop where you always like react to something a certain way or conflict, whatever, and it doesn't end well, that first time where you go through that pain and don't react the way you usually react, and you get good results with that person, it's just like, oh shit, things are opening up now. Oh, when I listen to feedback and follow through, shit works. It's like going.
That's like the biggest turn.
It's like going through water. It's just like.
This was a great story because you're the hero of the story here. Like you are the one that projectile vomited.
You vomited.
Yes.
You paid for dinner
You're
and you
not-
drove yourself home.
Yes.
I was like, I'm gonna give
like
you.
my parents'
You're
house.
getting the
My
first round of
parents'
applause. You're getting the first round of applause on the show.
Being able to like
Yeah,
push
like,
past being exhausted, tired, sick, and like getting it done.
Yeah, you got it done.
Just, when I first started drinking in like high school, I didn't know what a chaser was. So I'd get my like Mickey of Alberta vodka and I would drink half of it Friday
Atta
night
girl.
and then finish the rest Saturday night. Straight. Like I would just do shots of Alberta vodka. I puked every single day, like every Friday, Saturday night. It was like normal for me. I was like ready. I was ready for this food poisoning bout, which I'd never want to get, like never, ever, ever wanted to get.
What are some of the turnoffs you have on a date?
Turnoffs?
Yeah.
I think cocky guys.
Right.
Do you have have you dated a guy? What was the most cockiest guy you've dated?
I went on it was a Bumble date and the guy just talked about art and politics the entire time, but he talked about like all the art that he had in his apartment. And I was like, I don't fucking know who you're talking about. And they'd be like, yeah, I'm friends with like the mayor and like the like, I don't know. I don't even know politics either. So he's like talking about all this shit.
Oh, it was like local politics. Like you're like local politics.
Local politics. I don't even know who the mayor was at that point. I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm glad you're friends with the mayor. Like,
It's like if you know like Obama or Trump or something, it's like
totally.
that is
No,
kind
no,
of
local.
interesting, but like
Yeah.
a local.
You know, I live next door to an alderman.
That's so weird that he didn't read the room and he didn't even understand that. Like, it wasn't like you were like, oh, politics. Oh, I'm wondering if I should vote conservative or liberal this year, and I'm debating this point and this point. You didn't show any, and then he's like, oh shit, she knows. I better name drop here. It's like no, it's just like right in.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, that's the worst.
Hilarious.
That's the worst because it's like, because you've traveled, right? So it's just like when you talk about like, oh, I have all these. I bet you have like amazing traveling stories. And it's like, and then it's like, have you ever been to Italy? And he's like, oh yeah, I went to this one museum. And it's like, oh my god, that is not the Italian romantic story I want to hear about.
It's the worst.
So he didn't ask you anything. He just kind of talked about all of his things and was cocky.
Yeah, like I honestly can't even remember the conversation. Then he walked me home and he tried to kiss, or I think he kissed me and I kind of like did the cheek thing. And then he sent me a text and was like, that was a really great date. Like I'd love to do it again.
Aww.
And I have this text that I sent to guys that I'm like not into. That's super like, hey, like thanks so much. That was great.
Nice.
I just didn't feel a connection. Like I don't want to waste your time. So like good luck, whatever.
Well, that's really good. That's a really good thing to have. It's like it's really thoughtful.
Character, because he received it so well, and he was just like, hey, thanks so much for letting me know.
Have you ever given someone a second chance based on how they took your rejection?
No.
Yeah.
The last guy was awful. And he
Yeah?
was like 45, like a full-on adult. And he basically was like, oh, I don't know what you thought this was, but I was just looking for something casual. And I was like, oh, so why did you ask me out on a second date for dinner an hour after we left? Like, come on, buddy. And the thing was too, is he was actually kind of cool. So I would have set him up with one of my friends. I just wasn't like attracted to him.
Yeah.
But he handled it so piss poorly and was so defensive about it. Like,
oh my god, guys, you could that's what you have to think about too. You could get passed off to a friend.
Yeah.
If you're nice about the rejection, you have to
it's the long
think
game.
of the long game here, and and the cities are smaller than you think, and the pool of dating is smaller than you think.
That's
women talk.
That's actually what happened to me once. So I went on a date with a girl. You know her, Martina.
oh, I do.
Yeah.
Because
So
she asked me about you.
Yeah. So I went on a date with her, And then she's like, my friend is singing at this orchestra in a church. Will you come with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I go, I buy his tickets, and we sit down, and I look at the bill, and I've slept with her friend. But
One that's singing?
the one that's singing.
Oh my
The
God.
one that's singing. So I'm like so nervous. I'm like, don't know what to do. I'm like, oh no, it ended well. It was okay. I don't know, but I don't know how it's gonna play out. I don't know how it's gonna play out. But so she's like, she looks at me and like it's intermission. She's like, oh, you look like you want to go. Let's just go. I'm just gonna go say hi. And then so she goes to meet her friend and she takes a selfie with her and sends it to me. And she says, Fiona says you're a good guy.
That
So,
matters.
but it's because it ended like respectively. It's just like, you date a couple times. Like, okay, well, you're a good
Yeah.
person. I'm a good person. But it's just not like clicking fully.
Totally.
So it's just
I
had
gave
that
you a good
conversation. It's
review.
just like,
I said he's a nice guy. We dated like in grade 8 or 9 or
yeah,
something.
grade 8.
It matters. The reputation. Girls talk. They
Yeah.
let each other know
1,000%.
right away. They don't keep that secret.
No.
And unless they hate the girl, then they might let you go for someone that they know it's gonna be a problem. They just want to ruin her day. They'll be like, he's great.
Yeah, for sure. Go for him. He's a lovely guy.
But otherwise, we're very honest and we just talk about everything.
And I can guarantee like 99.9% of the time, it's not you. Like every guy that I've gone on a date with, for the most part, they're a great guy. I can see the value in them. I would set them up with other friends. I just wasn't romantically interested.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're not cool or great or anything. Just everyone's got different flavors of what they like. And
yeah.
Well, and also,
and there's like that spark. You can't eat that. Je ne sais quoi.
But also, it's just like when you say how that guy says, "Oh, I'm working on myself" or whatever. But it's like when you're single and you're working on yourself, you go on a date with someone, and then in 6 months, if you actually are working on yourself, you become a better person. You work out more, you get better interests, and then you meet up with them again. You have that second chance to really connect.
that's
So
true.
it's just at that particular time, you're not right, but you're just not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the pettiest reason why you've broken up with somebody?
probably bad shoes.
Bad shoes. What did they have on?
I hate bad shoes. Oh God. I feel like they were like those shoes that were really in style in the early 2000s that like every guy wore to the club, and they're like the pointy toed ones.
Oh yeah.
Like Aldo, really bad leather. Like
Yeah.
With it, but you can only wear that with like a suit.
No, because they were like jeans.
That's so weird.
So like, just give me like Converse or like, like a nice clean shoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the first thing I look at when I meet a guy. I immediately
Nice,
look at their
okay.
shoes and then I look at their ring finger to see if they're
There's a tan there.
just in case.
No, that's a good way to judge a guy. Because what does it tell you if they have a bad shoe?
That they just don't care about like what they're giving off, or I don't know. My friends roast me about that all the time because I'm like, I hate bad shoes. Like I feel like I can't date a guy with bad shoes because it's just never gonna work out. Like, there's something off.
Well, you're very stylish as well, so you kind of want to match with them, right? So it's just like so it's just like you want to have.
But yeah, I don't know I can't fully explain it. It's just like one of my biggest like deal breakers.
Yes. Would you ever care about a woman's shoe?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Well, I mean, they have to have nice shoes, but it's like usually that is a turn on when a girl has style, though. So if a girl doesn't have style, I just wouldn't be attracted to them in general.
What's more important?
What about if they have chipped toenail polish?
No, because that means like you're just a mess. Like it's just like they're just like that's just how it's true. It's true. It's like you're kind of a mess.
I agree.
You're sloppy. It's like you have to take care of those toes if you're gonna show them off. If you're gonna show them off, you have to take care of them.
Yes, I agree.
Do you feel like if a guy dresses up too much, it's a turn off? You like a dress
I don't
up?
think I'd want to date a guy who's like always wearing a suit. Like,
Oh, right.
if it's his job, cool, great. But
Mr. Business.
you want a guy who can wear Converse and like jeans and a white t-shirt.
Yeah, there is. I like that too.
Yeah.
I think
That's
a
the
t-shirt's
hottest
such
outfit.
a good.
Nice jeans, nice white Converse, and a white t-shirt.
There you
Nice.
go, man.
Let's leave it on that.
Let's leave it on that. That's great
Thanks,
advice.
Mandy.
Thank you
Thanks for having me.
So much
You
fun.
guys are so fun.